Well, welcome back to Wrestling in Mom's Basement. This is going to be the retro review for Halloween Havoc 1992. I, of course, am Patrick Young. This gentleman to my right, drinking the water, Joe Venuto.
Halloween Havoc 1992 happened on October 25th, 1992, from the Philadelphia Civic Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that building no longer exists.
No. Attendance was 7,000. Commentators Jim Wilson and Jesse Ventura. Tonight's about spin the wheel and therefore making the deal.
Spin the wheel, make the deal. Spin the wheel, make the deal.
The main event is Jake Roberts versus Sting in a feud I'm not sure anyone ever quite got. The idea is that you have 12 gimmicks on a wheel, and whatever it lands on stipulation.
And it comes from one of the greatest pieces of film ever.
Yes.
Just where Sting enters that random biker bar, where they're all chanting, spin the wheel, make the deal. Snake's in the corner, just lurking, and just pops out of the shadows, walks over to Sting, and then they shoot lasers out of their eyes.
It all works as roll roulette. Other than, not that, the match, the gimmick. Other than that, we have Ron Simmons defending against the Barbarian of all people. It was an odd time to say the least.
Yeah.
So let's get to it. The open videos.
It's pretty much Bill Watts trying to prove he's not racist.
The open video has the usual haunted house theme. Tony and Bruno Sammartino do some hosting and analyst stuff before the show.
And Halloween Havoc's actually usually one of my favorite WCW pay-per-views. Just that theme.
Well,
yeah.
Then this came along.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell's going on the TV.
That would be the Edge and Christian show.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I have no idea what the hell's going on.
Screenshot for the Edge and Christian video.
Why is everybody dressed like this 80s exercise?
Yeah.
The 12 matches on the wheel are Texas Bull Rope, Spur's Choice, Russian Chain, Dole Collar I Quit, Barbed Wire Cage, Lumberjack with Bells, Prince of Darkness, don't know, Texas Death, Coal Miner's Golf, First Blood. We get a video of Cactus Jack training Barbarian for the Power Slave. That's different.
And by the way, Foley's completely wearing one of those hoodies they usually see at some sort of music festival. I've even seen it down the beach where they're in beach shirts with that hoodie, and it's kind of like woven with like uncomfortable cloth. It looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was wearing one of that while trying to train Barbarian.
For the Power Slave.
Yeah.
It was different. Terry Gordy is here, so Steve Austin is teaming with Steve Williams in the tag title match. Rick Rude has to wrestle twice tonight. Missy High says nothing about that. But says she'll vote Jesse Ventura for president. Okay, then.
Apparently, WCW gets super political this night, because this is not the only political reference on the show.
Up first, Z-Man, Johnny Gunn, and Shane Douglas versus Arn Anderson, Michael Hayes, and Bobby Eaton. This should be good.
Yeah.
Gunn is more famous as Tom Brady. So we have three guys who are young and muscular versus a Heat Machine and two WrestleMasters. We're in Philadelphia. You can fill in the blanks yourselves.
Yeah.
Gunn and Anderson start phase all with Anderson pounding him in the corner. Gunn comes out with a bad dropkick, and Z-Man has one of his own. The good guys clear a ring and get booted out of the building.
Yeah.
Z-Man comes in legally and cranks on Arn's arm until Bobby comes in to take over. Eaton pops him on the right hand to place the ropes. Off to Hayes, who gets cheered too because he's the king of playing to the crowd. Shane comes in to work on Michael's arm and is booed in the process, which is something you would actually expect to see in Philly. Shane Douglas getting booed. But in this site, he was.
Give it a couple years and he won't be booed anymore in Philly.
Back to Eaton, whose arm dragged down immediately. Eaton takes down Shane in the corner and pops him on the right hand too, but he gets promptly taken down by flying head scissors. Back to Z-Man, who these people just hate. He hooks the leg bars. Jesse rants about Shane probably being a right-wing Republican.
I don't know what that had to do with anything, but there it is.
Z-Man hooks a sleeper on Anderson, but it's quick down. Back to Hayes, who pounds away, hooks a chin lock on Zinc. Eaton comes in and leads quickly with blindside Arn. Anderson kills Z-Man with a clothesline, and the place erupts again. Even Jesse's stunned by this, and he does this stunt easily. Hayes hooks a rear chin lock by Zinc, slams him in the mat escape. Double tag brings his Chambers Anderson by Eaton, cheap shots Douglas in the knee to stop the comeback again. Then popping Williams. Eaton drops the top rope, knee drop onto the knee, hooks the fair forward with the help of Hayes, of course. Shane turns over and Tom drops Anderson, but it hit his hot-tighted gun, and everything breaks down with gun hit and Fizz Price to pin Hayes, and the boom was great.
Yeah, kind of. I don't think WCW expected a Philly crowd like that.
No.
Even just right before the WCW or ECW era. But yeah, I thought it was a solid opening match. It was a good back and forth, and technically the baby faces were won the match, which should pop the crowd, just not in Philly.
If this had been anywhere near other than Philadelphia, this would have been an excellent opener. I can't say the fans turned with the guys because they were never on the side in the first place. You had to notice this coming if you know anything about the city. But the match itself was fine. Jesse's reactions to the crowd were entertaining too. She sounded genuinely surprised.
I give it a B-.
C+. Harley Race says Missy Hyde can't talk to Rick Rude. Smart man. Races is supposed to be here apparently. Ricky Steamboat versus Brian Pillman. This should be awesome. Pillman's a heel here and will hook up with Steve Austin soon. The fans had no problem cheering for Steamboat, so the crowd's back to normal. Steamboat chops him to start his shoulder for 2. Pillman throws him over the rope, so that doesn't work on the Dragon. Steamboat plays pasta and rams Pillman's face in a mad takeover. Dragon busts out the arm drag bar combination, takes over. Pillman gets backdrop and slammed a few times. So he pokes Steamboat in the eyes, take over. See, being evil does pay off. Steamboat's like, screw this, getting beat up and chokes Pillman over his head. Brian bites him in the back of the head when Steamboat has his back turned and take over. The head scissors gets Steamboat Pillman and chokes away building the ropes. The Dragon blocks superplex and jumps into his rocket from 2. Pillman's getting frustrated because he can't put Steamboat down. So Ricky hits a Russian leading sweep to put both guys down. There's a sleeper and the Dragon's in trouble. Steamboat falls in the corner and ram Brian's head into the buckle to escape. Pillman starts running, but he catches Steamboat coming back with a knee lift. A crossbody with the middle rope gets 2 for Pillman. Steamboat goes up and hits a top rope sunset flip for 2. Pillman counters, but Steamboat counters the counter to a sunset flip for the pin.
Yeah, pretty good match. Maybe if you know the guys a little bit more, it's kind of disappointing in a way, because you kind of do expect more out of them. But I think it's probably something where maybe they're not necessarily used to each other, and Flying Brian's not necessarily
face.
Yeah, he's not face, so he has to work a different style. But otherwise, it was a very good match.
Going out for this was going to be my match of the night. It actually is. No.
Okay.
Is this your match of the night?
Actually, I don't even remember which one was my match of the night. It's tied for my match of the night.
Okay. Yeah, this is what I call face-paced wrestling match between Town the Face and Town the Heel, though. To pull it short, 9-day mark. They worked very well together, so we expect them to. With both guys looking cursed and the whole way through, and the crowd reacted well to it. Good match. Good stuff here, indeed.
I gave it a B.
B. Masahiro Chono, the NWA World Champion, selects Kensuke Sasaki as his guest referee. Harley Race will be the other one. Wait, so why was it surprising to see him earlier? Bill Watts has some announcements. Terry Gordy has been fired for breach of contract. And Steve also will be replacing a tag title match tonight. Also, Rick Rude is wanted too much, so Vader was substitute for him in the U.S. title defense.
So essentially, you just gave in to Rick Rude. Okay.
U.S. title, Nikita Cole versus Vader. Rude's the actual champion, but Vader is subbing for him. This is WQ. Rude comes out too, but doesn't stick around. Race gets thrown out too. Vader hits him in the face, and Cole does the wrong move. They slug it out a lot, and Vader splashes him to take over a hard clothesline. Takes Cole down, as does a headbutt. Cole all of a sudden that forward comes out with some power on his own. He is crossbody to the back for 2, which is a move I've never seen before.
No.
Ultimate chinlock, which goes on for a good while. JR told us about a 30-minute time limit, and I can't help but chuckle. Can you imagine these two go half an hour against each other?
Nope.
Vader finally breaks it against Kramer for 2. Cole is an uncrossed rival for 2. He's not the kind of guy I would expect to use that. But he's to speak on this. So what do you think about? Vader rolls to the fourth stall and then does it a few more times. Cole finally has enough and goes after him, but the sickle hits the post and the key is in trouble. Back in, and Vader goes into the Mola mode, running over Cole and 7-4. There's a hard chair shot. Remember, that's an DQ. And we go back and when a powerbomb retains the title for Rude.
I guess maybe it's in the era before where you expect nudie Q to actually kind of mean something besides one chair shot.
Yeah.
So maybe it's in that period, but I was kind of disappointed in this match. I expected it to be a little bit better considering both guys are both brawlers. It was just okay in my book.
Considering this is no DQ, there was a tell one thing that would fit that gimmick. The chair shot.
Yeah.
They flew through this, and I can't see why. Cole of Warlords disappeared after this.
Gave it a C-.
D. Steve Williams is glad to have lost his new partner. Tag titles. Steve Williams and Steve Austin versus Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes. Windham and Rhodes are defending here. This is actually the unified tag titles, but who cares about stuff like that? This is supposed to be a rubber match with Barry and Dustin versus Steve Williams and Terry Gorey. Also is in purple here, which is a weird thing to say. Williams, as in the person using his real name, unlike Austin, whose last name is also Williams, starts with Dustin. And it's time to
He actually had to change his name because he was about ready to work the same show as Steve Williams. And Dutch Mantel was like, yeah, you're Steve Austin now.
And while they start, it's time to talk about football. Probably enough they get down and 3-point stances to collide. But at the same time, Williams suckers in their clothesline takeover. Dustin clothesline him down as well before hook on wrist lock. Ultimate Barry who's having problems with his partner at this point. It's power versus speed here with a speed Williams takeover in the front of armbar. Williams' arm drags him right into the corner of Rose, and there's a tag. He fight over a wrist lock, but neither guy being able to take over the wrist lock. The fans chant for Flair, I think, did that one.
Yeah, they would actually go on and chant it a few more times.
And it's Ultimate Austin, who hits a dropkick, taking over an incoming Windham, while in purple. Imagine that. Just imagine that one. Austin gets caught in between champions like a pinball, as Dante 4 back in, and Dustin hooks a headlock on the mat. Jesse Tolstoy has time in the East-West connection. He and Adonis didn't get along outside the ring, but they did in the ring. See, back in the day, wrestlers who became commentators actually talked about their careers and used these stories to make points about matches they're commentating on. It's not that hard. Austin works on the leg, but it doesn't do that well.
Although, to their benefit, they wouldn't just add anything like he looks like a right-wing Republican.
I was talking about that.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, it's devil's advocate there. When that adds.
Well, that's because Vince is a right wing. One of Vince's best friends is a Republican. They want to add that.
Vince McMahon is a Republican.
Right. They want to add that though. Because it would be right for some Republicans, and Republicans are kind of in and cool right now, and weird people freak out about them. So, or they hate it. But either way, they're news.
It's not meant to me like, oh, I think negatively one way or that way. It's just that it was just kind of odd to throw it in there.
Well, I think he actually was running for president. Getting ready to run for president. He's self for governor a few years later.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's kind of like how Bob Backlund in a couple of years did it, I guess, for himself.
And so would Hulk Hogan.
Although
that one's not as much of...
No.
That one's way more of a joke.
Yeah. Rose charges into the boot, but comes back with a ladder to take over the two. Wyndham comes over with knuckles on for another two, and the same over suplex back to Doc, who's taken down immediately. They slug out, but Wyndham misses charge line from 4. Back to the future Rattlesnake as the challengers take over. Suplex Kasu, Williams comes back in, charges into the equivalent breaker sleeper. He ties Barry up on the floor and a hole and brings in Olsen. Olsen works on the arm of a handlock, slings back to Dr. Death. Power sling is JR, sounds like he wants to marry Williams. This is nothing new, but it's a bit more pronounced here. Williams makes a chin lock with a jawbreaker, but Williams brings in Olsen to prevent the tag. Barry breaks up a suplex and hits a middle rope lariat for 2. Hot tied and Dusty. Cleans out a rapid fire almost ahead. Bull takes Olsen down, but Williams makes a save. Dustin's rush of offense is stopped cold, and the challengers take over again. A corner splash puts them down there, and there's a Bolson crab. That gets followed by a body voice from Olsen, but even interfering Williams can't break it. Dustin uses the ropes to get free, and we get the always cool back bridge into the backslide for 2. Dustin tries to come out against Williams, and Dr. Deck just casually takes him down with an amateur move. Olsen and Rose slug out, and the future Bull one takes over. Big shock, right? Rose is busted, and Williams goes after it like a maniac. That's another fin action for him. Also, chill out from Olsen, which is one of the first wrestles on the match so far. An elbow misses, though, and Rose gets a small package for 2. Williams hooks a chin lock as we have 5 minutes left. Also drops a double action forward, though. He hooks a half crab, which is kind of stupid at this point. Dudley gets taken down again. 3 minutes left, but the challengers don't seem all that interested in going for the kill. Williams gets the tag, but the referee doesn't say it. There goes referee. It's time for replacement. Williams hits a clothesline for a pin on Wyndham out of nowhere, but he's not legal, so it's a Dustin finish. Dustin pins Williams, but he's not legal either. There's a ladder to also for 2. Everyone breaks down. We have a minute left. Dustin 2 seconds also with 30 seconds to go, and both guys are down. Time runs out with them all staying around, which is odd, but the rest of the end sequence that was awesome, so I was cool with it.
Yeah, I did really like the part after, like that Dusty finish, where everyone seemed to actually speed up a little bit until like the last, probably 20 seconds of the match, where it kind of slowed down again, and they kind of just were like, all right, so we're just gonna tie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought the match was pretty good. I thought both teams worked pretty well together. I actually never knew Dr. Death and Steve Austin actually tagged together, so that's actually news to me. But I thought for their probably one and only tag match together, I thought they did a heck of a job working together. And Barry and Dustin did very well as the baby faces in the match. So
yeah, this was my match that night. I really like that in the sequence with the false finish, because it was the right call from a rule standpoint. The rest of it was very good, as it was an extended form with time match from 4 guys who are all very talented. This worked quite well, and thankfully, Dr. Death and Terry Gordon won't be team up anytime soon. If we get on one of these shows, if they do team up, I guess it'd be awesome. But I think it's the only time they did team up.
I think it is. I don't even know they teamed together this place. I give it a B.
B+. We go to Vader racing dangerously with Paul taking credit for all the success tonight. He takes credit for everything until Medusa shows up. She thanks everyone but Dangerously for winning the world title, which I guess is coming later. Dangerously goes awful her, told about how he is the one that did everything, and it's because he's a man. Medusa is just a woman, and there's beneath him is subservient. She's been there to take care of Rue's needs, but she was only hired for that because the other hooker was busy. He fires her from the alliance and jumps in the air, so she hits a high kick to the face and destroys him as even Vader and Race right away.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. They were just like, let's get the fuck out of here.
This place erupts and Jesse's freaking out. This was awesome in so many ways.
Yeah.
Sting comes out to spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel, make the deal. Spin the wheel, make the deal.
And lands on Cole Myers' glove match. Why? My desk will be a gas leak in the WCW offices.
Yeah.
This is one of those moments in WCW where you just shake your head and facepalm. Because that's probably the worst possible choice they could have made.
Yes, it is.
Somehow this took 4 minutes.
Yes.
NWA World Title, Rick Rude versus Masahiro Chono. Harley Race and Kisuke Sasaki are guest referees here. Now, these two apparently had a masterpiece in Japan and a tournament final where Chono won a title. So I thought this had potential just hearing about that. If you know anything about WCW in 1992, you should know what that means. Medusa comes out with Rude, making him the face into that previous segment.
Yes.
And Chono's defending here. Rue's selection will be referee inside the ring. That took about 3 minutes to this side. This match shows another great example of what was wrong with the NWA. Chono is a great wrestler from Japan. I don't think anyone knows that. I was going to dispute that, because basically, if you're in New Japan, you're more likely a great wrestler. Chono's 29 here, and the prime of his career. That means I'll be surprised if more than 3% of the audience watching the show knew who the fuck he was.
I doubt anybody in Philly knew who he was at the time.
From what I can find, this is his first televised singles match ever in WCW. I mean, the match had been hyped on TV and all that, but the fans are just responding to this guy's a world champion without ever seeing him wrestle. That's never gonna work. The fans want flair before we get going. Rude talks trash in English.
Does Chono speak English?
Jesse says He's from Minnesota. Old Minnesotans speak Japanese as a second language. Filling out process to start, and they fight over a hammerlock. Chono takes him to the mat, and the rest holds begin. The first one's the armbar, which eats up a minute or so. Rue comes out with a slam and some for two. Chono gets up and slams Rue down. We hit armbar, and then we slam the armbar. There's some stuff going behind the scenes here. I've been thinking about how can these guys go from a Power Hammer very good classic to being this boring. Clearly, they know how to have a slight match that people are talking about, and they work pretty well together. But this is just long stretches of lay on the mat and a hold. That is only a submission that bores the audience to death. Now, Rue comes back and hits some right hands, which are the most interesting part of the match so far. Jesse said Rue is shaved so he could drop weight.
Yeah, he did say that.
Ventura's trying, but man alive, there's only so much he can do. We hit the chin lock as they slow right back out. Chono comes back and takes Rue right to the mat for STF, his finisher attempt. But Rue blocks. Instead, Chono just uses the late part and things get boring again. Imagine seeing it preparing an STF for 2 minutes. See how the face get bored really face? We're 15 minutes into this. Wasn't bad for that description. And does that sound like 15 minutes worth of action? Rue pile drives him, and Chono gets a full in the ropes. Rue, likely outbore him, fires off some more fight, and we hit the chin lock again. JR is so bored that he saw about Rue's armbar song career. If that chin lock isn't your cup of tea, here's a sleeper instead. At least this one, the fans, including Hat Guy in the front row, are looking at a fight in a stage, so they're not missing anything. This will be posted as to the rest of the match, where the fans aren't missing anything while looking at the match. We hit 20 minutes, as Jesse talks about Ben Franklin winning the world title against Thomas Jefferson back in 1796 in a 2.5 3 falls match.
Somehow, I don't think he's right about that one.
Rue shifts to a headlock, but misses a top rope dropkick. Chono accidentally charges into the race and knocks into the floor. He says Rue did a corner where Rue lands on both referees, and that's a DQ. Rue is still waking, but it doesn't count.
Yeah, this match was incredibly boring. And then an overbooked finish happened, so, just not good. Not good all around.
I'm going to have to say my grade now, so you get my description. T.
Okay.
The letter T. As for the word this. As in, this is what NWA died around this time. We had a boring match of a guy that no one cared about with a bogus ending. Why am I supposed to care about the match? Neither guy was impressive at all. The match brought down what had been a good show so far. Just awful here. Yeah, that's it.
F.
Okay, FNT. So that's T. Post-match, there's an argument over who wins on DQ. Sasaki beats up Reigns. We look at Cactus Jack training Barbarian for the world title match. This will consist of having Barbarian on all fours with cinder blocks on his back, and Jack breaks him with a sledgehammer.
How's this supposed to help? I absolutely have no idea.
WCW world title. Barbarian versus Ron Simmons. Yes, it's that Barbarian. See, for some reason, WCW decided that the big name should go to the NWA title, while the WCW title was treated like a mid-card title. Simmons has a huge entourage behind him, bringing the ring. Barbarian is a Jack surrogate, because Cactus is injured. They stare each other down forever and feel each other out before Barbarian pounds him down the corner. Simmons comes back and Barbarian bails to the floor. Barbarian gets a stunner top rope takeover and sends Ronda for no one cares about this match at all, and I can almost guarantee they're not going to get the fans secure based on how good, and I use that word loosely, how this match will be. Barbarian rams him into the post and then into the reel and gets his already dragging less than 5 minutes in. Back in, and Ron has the absolute worst sunset flip of all time for 2. Barbarian looks a long cobra clutch, which looks more like an armpit claw, but like he was grabbing Ron's armpit, but whatever. On top of elbow misses as Simmons gets a chance to breathe. They slug out, but Simmons challenged the power of football to hit a bad spine buster. shockingly from him, for 2. Simmons misses a clothesline, but Barbarian sells anyway. There's a 3-point shoulder block, but Jack has a referee. Barbarian kicks him in the back of the head and says it forces a result. Back in, Simmons is nice enough to roll 3 feet to the left so that the top rope headbutt can hit. Once that gets 2, Barbarian's chances are done. Simmons grabs a power slam out of nowhere for the pin to retain.
Yeah, this is just terrible matchmaking. This probably should have been more like a brawl atmosphere, not actually a wrestling match. If you're actually doing a wrestling match, both guys need different opponents. They need much stronger wrestlers than themselves. That was just a failing in at the matchmaking level.
The Barbarian just come in and show.
That too, yeah.
This is treated like a worthless match, and to be fair, there was good reason to do that. It came off like a big main event of a C level, like a Superstars or main event type show. Which goes a long way to explain the trouble the company was having around this time. Just awful here.
F.
Sting, Bruno, and Eric Wallace talk about the match we just sat for.
Why?
Sting versus Jake Roberts. Cole Myers glove match. Which means there's a loaded glove on the pole. Jake uses some more generic rock music, which will later be used by Big Bubba.
Yeah.
And have previously been used by Austin.
Yeah.
This is non-sanctioned, and Sting is just mad over. Yeah. He's not mad, he's mad over with the Philly crowd.
Yeah.
The story here is Roberts jumped him and laid Sting out, so this is revenge. Sting controls all his Roberts souls. Sting misses dropkick, and Jake goes to the back. They go to the floor, Jake's arm goes in a post. Sting goes for a glove, which is about 12 feet above the ring. But Jake makes the save and hits the suplex. Jake says that for but his attempt at getting a glove results in him being crushed. Sting works with an injured arm for a bit and they head outside again. Jake hits him in the back with a chair and chokes with tape back in the ring. This match really isn't working either, so basically having a regular match, albeit very rushed. That doesn't even fit this as a blood feud or all about revenge or anything close to it, really.
Spin the wheel, make the deal. Spin the wheel, make the deal.
Jake misses a run-in knee lip, but the Sting splashes it too. Jake uses the bay arm for the DDT, but Sting comes in as close to those selling as you can, while still selling. Sting does a cool move where he swings around the pole to knock Jake down. That was cool. Cactus runs out with Jake's Cobra. As Sting gets the glove, Sting knocks his stake onto Jake's face where it bites him. Allows Sting to get the win.
Yeah, another not good match. And then the finish happened as well. It just wasn't good.
As I said, the glove meant nothing here, as it had to be the dumbest possible gimmick they could have gone with. Jake will basically be going through this and won't be seen in mainstream American wrestling again until 1996. This was absolutely awful, though. 2 guys I'm big fans of, too. And the ending was so stupid that I can't believe I saw it. Keep this in mind when you're at work. Someone paid to think of this idea.
Yeah. You'll always be better than that guy.
Right.
F.
To give you an idea before we give our rules of how real the bite is, I must mention this. Jake pulls the stake away, looks at it, and puts it right back to where it was biting him. Did you show off?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. That's like something out of a parody of a bad horror movie. And Jake is poisoned. We get about 4 minutes of wrap up to end the show. Overall?
Overall F. This show fell off a cliff, like, right in the middle of the show. Like, it went off the rails. It's on the crazy train. It's just that bad. The first 4 matches or so were pretty good. It was actually leading to a solid pay-per-view, and then just F.
F for me too. I heard shows go off a cliff before. That happens sometimes. But this went off a cliff, through the ground, and landed in the ocean somewhere.
Yeah.
The sad part is this is nowhere near the worst WCW pay-per-view you ever see.
No.
It was the last 3 matches that were just dreadful. Combined to be almost an hour. Those last 2 matches, with the best match somehow being Simmons versus Barbarian, which was long and dull. WCW 1992 had a reputation, and if you watch the show, you can see why. The tag match is really solid. And the Steamboat versus Pillman match is out. The opener's not bad either. Pretty decent. But other than that, there's nothing here. Other than more reasons to never think about WCW in 1992 after Beach Boys. Beach Boys is a good show. I do remember watching that, I think, on WWE Classics. Or 24/7. That's a good show. They had the Sting vs. Counter Jack Fultz combo match. I think you may have seen that on Sting DVD.
I might have, yeah.
Yeah, or on the Classics. We'll be right back with our pay-per-view for next Monday.
We'll be back.
Our pay-per-view, WCW Super Bowl 1999.
We cannot escape WCW.
Booker T versus Disco Inferno. Alright, this could be good. Chris Jericho versus Perry Sauer. No.
That sounds a lot better.
Cruiserweight title match, Kidman versus Chavo Guerrero Jr.
That could be a very solid match.
This could be good. Tag team title finals. The Four Horsemen versus Benoit Malenko versus Barry Windham and Kurt Hank. That could be good. This could be good too. Elizabeth's here versus Rey Mysterio Jr.'s match. Tiny match.
Yeah.
The Outsiders versus Cody and Rey Mysterio Jr. World Television title match. This could be good depending on style. Scott Steiner versus Diamond Dallas Page. Actually, if you're going to my cage match, it was the best match that night.
Yeah.
United States title match. Scott Hall versus Roddy Piper. Scott Hall pulling double duty. Scott Hall 1999, I'm good.
Yeah.
His first match sounds better. Goldberg versus Bam Bam Bigelow. And the main event, World title, Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair.
I've heard worse pay-per-views.
Not a bad card. I can't wait since 1999 though how they screw this one up.
Yes.
That done for this?
Yeah, I've heard of worse WCW pay-per-views in 1999.
Up next are year-end awards for 2018.
Yes.
So see you then.
See you then.